her brain on gratitude.
Your brain is 60% fat.
Damage in the brain. Brain look terrible.
Brain.
Good for your brain, bad for your brain.
Under chronic stress, eating bad food, drinking diet soda like it was my best friend. And I just never thought about it until I looked at my brain. That's what we do here at Amen Clinics, is you came to see me because you're anxious, because you're depressed, because you have OCD, because you're fighting with your wife. We'd look at your brain. And so when I looked at my brain for the first time and it wasn't healthy, I was horrified. My 60-year-old mother had a better looking brain than I did. And so I developed this concept, I wanted her brain, of brain envy. And when you care about it, when you love it, everything changes. Everything changes in your life.
Your brain is the most powerful organ in your body, controlling everything from your thoughts and emotions to your physical movements and memory. But did you know that certain everyday habits could be quietly sabotaging your brain's health? Whether it's skipping sleep, reaching for sugary snacks, or letting stress build up, these small choices can lead to long-term damage. In this video, we're diving into 5 crucial habits that will not only protect your brain but keep you sharp, focused, and thriving for years to come. Stick around to discover how you can unlock your brain's full potential.
When you learn something new, your brain makes a new connection. When you stop learning or you start doing the same thing over and over again, your brain starts to disconnect itself. Being in a job that does not require new learning is a risk factor for dementia. Being lonely is a risk factor for dementia. So be an ass, and it's more likely to hurt your brain. At my workplace, we have the no asshole rule. So there's a book by a Stanford professor called The No Asshole Rule. Love that book. And the no asshole rule as a CEO starts with me. So I don't get to be one, but I'm not tolerating anybody who has asshole behavior at work. And if you're not an asshole, you're less likely to be lonely. And loneliness is terrible for brain function. If you want to prematurely age your brain, eat a lot of red meat as if your iron and ferritin levels are high, because ferritin, it's just stored iron, tends to age the brain.
Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today, we're talking about something we all depend on, but don't always pay enough attention to: our brain health. We often focus on physical fitness or eating right, but what about the well-being of our mind? The truth is, the habits we practice every day can either support our brain or slowly damage it. So whether you're looking to improve focus, memory, or just ensure a healthy future, these tips will be game changers. Let's jump into the 5 key habits you need to adopt right now to keep your brain functioning at its best. Habit 5. Sugar overload. The sweet poison.
Fruit sugar from its fiber source, because it turns toxic in your body. So I'm not a fan of fruit juice. I'm a fan of fruit, not fruit juice. But so the bad category, hitting a soccer ball with your head. No, don't do that.
What's bad about sugar for the brain?
It's pro-inflammatory.
What does that
It
mean?
makes you diabetic.
But I mean, as it relates to the brain, why is like orange juice or the ice cream bad for my brain?
Because it's ultimately going to give you high blood sugar levels, which erode your blood vessels, and you're going to have lower blood flow to your brain. That's a bad thing. I mean, there's so many things about it. So it's addictive, it's pro-inflammatory. It makes it more likely you're going to have diabetes and obesity. So 72% of Americans are overweight, 42% are obese. I've published 3 studies on 35,000 people. As your weight goes up, the actual physical size and function of your brain goes down. That should scare the fat off anyone. I used to be chubby, but when I figured out that connection, I'm like, oh no, it was that gave me the motivation to drop about 25 pounds. And so sugar is the gateway drug to diabetes and obesity. And so, not to mention inflammation, which is the cause of depression and dementia.
Sugar may taste delightful, but it's one of the worst enemies of your brain. When you consume high amounts of sugar, especially from processed foods and beverages like fruit juice, you're directly harming your brain. Dr. Amen explains that consuming sugar increases inflammation, which in turn raises your risk for developing serious conditions like diabetes, dementia, and depression. The sugary drinks and treats we indulge in may satisfy our cravings for the moment, but they are slowly causing damage. Inflammation and brain health. Sugar leads to chronic inflammation, which negatively affects brain function. Inflammation in the brain makes you more vulnerable to neurodegenerative diseases like Alzheimer's, obesity, and brain shrinkage. Another key issue tied to sugar is obesity. Dr. Amen has conducted studies involving over 35,000 participants, and the results are frightening. The larger your waistline, the smaller your brain tends to be. When you carry excess weight, your brain's actual size shrinks, affecting cognition and memory. Fun fact, nearly 72% of Americans are either overweight or obese, and 42% fall into the obese category. These numbers aren't just related to aesthetics. They show an alarming correlation between weight and brain health. But it's not just sugar you should worry about. Processed carbohydrates in general are culprits in degrading brain function. This is why Dr. Amen emphasizes the importance of staying away from sugary foods, sodas, and yes, even that daily glass of orange juice. Solution: opt for whole fruits over fruit juice and cut down on refined sugars. Incorporate anti-inflammatory foods like leafy greens, berries, and fish, rich in omega-3s, to help repair brain function. Habit 4. Chronic caffeine consumption.
I don't think there's a connection. I haven't read any research that says there's a connection between caffeine and dementia. There's a connection with sleep problems, and there's a connection with sleep problems and dementia. I think if you have like 100 milligrams a day of caffeine, it's probably fine. But one venti Starbucks coffee has got 330 milligrams of caffeine.
Jesus.
And people just aren't thinking about the level of caffeine they're having in our society.
What are the other very obvious things that are not good for my brain? Because I really want to make sure that I avoid those things. So I've got sugar,
So,
head
and
injury.
erectile dysfunction. I mean, while we're on, so B is for blood flow, right? While we're on blood flow, 40% of 40-year-olds have erectile dysfunction. 70% of 70-year-olds have erectile dysfunction. What that means, if you have blood flow problems anywhere, it means they're everywhere. And so, like, no. And it means either you're too sedentary, you're overweight, you're smoking, or having too much caffeine, or using marijuana, because marijuana lowers blood flow to the brain. And so just in that one of the 11, it's exercise, ginkgo. And for you, not for everybody, but for you, hyperbaric oxygen. Those three things will make a big difference in blood flow.
Ginkgo.
Ginkgo,
What is that?
it's a supplement,
What does it do?
increases blood flow.
To the brain?
The prettiest brains I've ever seen take ginkgo. There's actually a SPEC study. They gave people 120 milligrams of ginkgo twice a day, significant improvement in blood flow to the brain.
For many, caffeine is an essential part of the daily routine. Whether it's a cup of coffee in the morning or a midday energy drink, caffeine offers that much-needed boost. But what many don't realize is that overconsumption of caffeine has long-term consequences for your brain. Restricted blood flow. Caffeine restricts blood flow to the brain, which can lead to a number of cognitive issues. Dr. Amen points out that caffeine decreases circulation to the brain, which is alarming, especially if you're consuming large quantities. This reduced blood flow can worsen brain aging over time. Increased risk for mental health issues. Excessive caffeine intake has been associated with sleep problems, anxiety, and even depression. Lack of sleep is particularly dangerous for brain health. Poor sleep can lead to memory problems and has been linked to an increased risk of dementia. Caffeine and brain shrinkage. Although more research is needed, there are connections between chronic caffeine use and brain shrinkage, which is directly related to dementia and other age-related cognitive declines. Fun fact: a venti coffee from Starbucks contains about 330 milligrams of caffeine, way more than the 100 milligrams per day limit that Dr. Amen suggests to minimize harm. Solution: Dr. Amen recommends switching to decaffeinated alternatives or drastically reducing your caffeine intake. Instead of that extra cup of coffee, opt for brain-boosting foods like beets and cinnamon, which help improve blood circulation naturally. Habit 3. Avoiding processed foods and sugary drinks.
Foods that make you depressed. I know you're not going to want to hear this. Sugar and fast foods, because they're fiberless foods. That's why they're fast. They get you in there and out fast. Processed foods, popcorn and corn-related foods, because often it's pro-inflammatory.
Antidepressant is not doing one thing for getting your brain healthy. Nobody's talking to you about your diet.
Food, I actually think, is responsible for almost half of the mental health challenges in America.
Inflammation, which is the cause of depression and dementia.
Your brain is 60% fat. So the solid weight of your brain is mostly fat. People who have fat-based diets, 42% less risk than the general population of getting Alzheimer's disease.
Having excess salt in your diet can affect your heart and can affect your blood pressure.
Alcohol causes damage in the brain.
Really?
Even a little bit of alcohol. Alcohol has been shown to disrupt the white matter in your brain. Obviously, alcoholics, they have terrible looking brains.
Alcohol is associated with an increased risk of 7 different types of cancer, including prostate cancer, breast cancer, mouth cancer, larynx cancer, colon cancer.
It's ultimately going to give you high blood sugar levels, which erode your blood vessels, and you're going to have lower blood flow to your brain.
It was the biggest scam in the history, the health history of our country, that fat was not the problem. Sugar is the problem. If you have a carbohydrate-based diet, you have 4 times the risk of Alzheimer's disease.
One of the most critical habits for maintaining optimal brain health is avoiding processed foods and sugary drinks. While many of us enjoy a quick snack or a sweet beverage, these items are among the worst culprits for brain degeneration. The problem with processed foods, which are often high in refined sugars, unhealthy fats, and additives, wreak havoc on both the body and mind. These foods contribute to inflammation, which can impair brain function over time. Chronic inflammation has been linked to neurodegenerative diseases like Alzheimer's and Parkinson's. For example, foods high in trans fats, such as fried foods, baked goods, and fast foods, can increase the risk of memory loss and poor cognitive function. In addition, these foods tend to be low in essential nutrients, such as antioxidants, omega-3 fatty acids, and vitamins like B6, B12, and folic acid, which are necessary for cognitive health. A lack of these nutrients can result in a higher risk of depression, anxiety, and other mental health issues. The consumption of processed foods can also impair the blood-brain barrier, a protective shield that keeps harmful substances out of the brain. Sugary drinks, a silent brain killer. Sugary drinks, such as sodas, energy drinks, and sweetened coffee, are particularly harmful to the brain. These beverages cause spikes in blood sugar, which over time can damage blood vessels, reducing the brain's blood supply. This not only increases the risk of stroke, but also accelerates cognitive decline. Sugary drinks are also addictive. They activate the brain's reward center, leading to cravings and overconsumption. Long-term use can result in the brain becoming desensitized to the pleasure they bring, making it harder to experience satisfaction from healthier sources, such as natural foods or physical activity. Impact on weight and brain health. The effects of processed foods and sugary drinks on weight are alarming. According to studies, 72% of Americans are overweight and 42% are obese. As weight increases, brain size and functionality decrease. This has been proven through numerous studies, including one involving over 35,000 participants. Obesity impairs brain health by reducing blood flow, increasing inflammation, and contributing to insulin resistance, which affects the brain's ability to use glucose for energy. This is why reducing the consumption of these harmful foods and beverages is crucial for maintaining not just physical health, but mental well-being as well. Incorporating more whole foods, such as vegetables, fruits, and lean proteins, can significantly reduce the risk of brain degeneration and mental health disorders. Habit 2. Prioritizing quality sleep.
So, why do we sleep? When you sleep, your brain cleans or washes itself. And when you sleep, your body rests and turns on 700 health-promoting genes. And so if you're not sleeping 7.5, 8 hours a night, those genes turn on, and it makes you more vulnerable to get sick. You have to begin to love your sleep. You have to care about it. Like, make it a priority. I was on, in fact, Thursday morning, I'm going to be on CNN Headline News with Mike Galanos, and we're going to talk about building a routine. He showed me a video of his routine, and it was not good. He didn't even have anything to eat till 1:30 and wondered why he was distracted. If you want a healthy routine, it starts the night before. It starts with a good night's sleep. So before I go to bed, and I always go to bed about 10 o'clock, before I go to bed, I say a prayer, because I like to do that. Helps settle me. And then I say to myself, what went well today? And then in my mind, I review the positive things that have happened during the day. And I'm always finding these really great things that I was just too busy to just take time and notice. Like, my 16-year-old daughter's really becoming a good cook. It just makes me so happy. Or my niece, I've been telling you, Amelie and I, she's 10. We're 2.5 weeks into table tennis every night. It's just like half an hour. You have to do it sort of like you brush your teeth. And she's just doing so well. So before you go to sleep, review what happened during your day about what went well. Too often, the undisciplined mind goes to bed and thinks about all the bad things.
Sleep is one of the most underrated factors in maintaining good brain health, yet it plays a pivotal role in cognitive function, memory retention, and emotional stability. Poor sleep quality or insufficient sleep can have a profoundly negative impact on the brain, leading to issues like mood swings, impaired memory, reduced focus, and even long-term cognitive decline. The science behind sleep and brain health. When we sleep, the brain goes through crucial restorative processes. One of the most important functions that occur during sleep is the removal of toxins and waste products from the brain, including beta amyloid, a protein linked to Alzheimer's disease. This cleansing process is facilitated by the glymphatic system, which becomes active during deep sleep. Poor sleep disrupts this system, allowing these harmful proteins to accumulate over time. Additionally, sleep is vital for memory consolidation. During sleep, the brain processes and stores the information gathered throughout the day, helping us retain and recall memories more effectively. Without sufficient rest, our ability to learn and retain new information diminishes. The effects of sleep deprivation. Chronic sleep deprivation has been linked to a variety of mental health problems, including anxiety, depression, and cognitive decline. Studies have shown that sleep-deprived individuals are more likely to experience negative emotions, have difficulty regulating stress, and struggle with decision-making. Over time, a lack of sleep can contribute to more serious conditions, such as dementia and other neurodegenerative disorders. Furthermore, sleep deprivation affects the brain's ability to control impulse behavior and can lead to poor lifestyle choices, such as overeating, lack of exercise, and increased consumption of caffeine and sugar. These choices, in turn, exacerbate brain health problems, creating a vicious cycle of mental and physical decline. How to improve sleep quality? To prioritize quality sleep, it's important to establish healthy sleep habits. This includes maintaining a consistent sleep schedule, creating a relaxing bedtime routine, and ensuring that the sleep environment is conducive to rest. Avoiding screens at least an hour before bed is also essential, as blue light from electronic devices can interfere with the production of melatonin, the hormone responsible for regulating sleep. It's also important to manage stress, which is one of the main contributors to poor sleep quality. Techniques such as meditation, deep breathing exercises, and journaling can help calm the mind and promote restful sleep. Habit 1. Managing stress and mental health.
And for someone who's depressed, head to head against antidepressants, exercise has been shown to be equally effective. So if you're depressed, start walking like you're late for 45 minutes, 4 to 7 times a week. I walk 7 days a week. Head to head against antidepressants in a study from New Zealand. Omega-3 fatty acids were found to be equally effective. Head to head against antidepressants, learning how to not believe every stupid thing you think, I call it killing the ants, the automatic negative thoughts, has been found to be helpful. Now, if you're depressed, you absolutely should get your thyroid checked, your testosterone level checked, your blood sugar checked, because if they're not healthy, if they're not optimal, your mood is gonna suffer. I also love saffron. The spice saffron has actually been found in 24 randomized controlled trials to be equally effective to antidepressants to boost your mood. You don't have to just go to an antidepressant first. Now, if all the natural things don't work, take an antidepressant. But you want to know what your brain looks like ahead of time so you're not experimenting. So are there alternatives to anti-anxiety medication? Before you let anyone prescribe a benzo to you, Klonopin, Xanax, Ativan, Valium, really work to gain some skill over anxiety, hypnosis, meditation, diaphragmatic breathing, supplements like GABA, magnesium, theanine, Relora. There are so many other things to do. Now, none of those things work, then the anti-anxiety medicines I like are things like Buspar or gabapentin. I don't ever want to start a problem, right? You don't want to fix a problem by starting a problem that you can't stop.
Of all the habits that impact brain health, managing stress and mental health is arguably the most important. Chronic stress can lead to a host of physical and mental health problems, and its impact on the brain is particularly concerning. From anxiety and depression to long-term cognitive decline, unchecked stress can wreak havoc on mental well-being. The dangers of chronic stress. Chronic stress leads to the release of cortisol, a hormone that, in small doses, helps us respond to immediate threats. However, when stress becomes a constant presence in our lives, cortisol levels remain elevated, which can cause lasting damage to the brain. High levels of cortisol have been shown to shrink the hippocampus, the area of the brain responsible for learning and memory. This can result in difficulties with memory retention, focus, and decision-making. Over time, chronic stress can even lead to the development of anxiety disorders, depression, and neurodegenerative diseases like Alzheimer's. Moreover, stress affects the brain's prefrontal cortex, the region responsible for higher-level cognitive functions, such as problem-solving, planning, and impulse control. When the prefrontal cortex is impaired, individuals may struggle with controlling emotions, making rational decisions, and resisting harmful behaviors, such as overeating or substance abuse. Mental health conditions and brain health. Mental health conditions, such as depression, anxiety, and post-traumatic stress disorder, PTSD, also have a profound impact on brain function. Depression, for example, is associated with a reduction in brain volume, particularly in areas related to emotion regulation and memory. Anxiety, on the other hand, can cause overactivity in the amygdala, the brain's fear center, leading to constant feelings of dread and unease. Individuals who suffer from mental health disorders often experience cognitive impairments, such as difficulty concentrating, memory problems, and slower information processing. These issues can significantly reduce the quality of life and make it harder for individuals to function in their daily lives. The importance of mental health maintenance. To manage stress and maintain mental health, it's essential to adopt healthy coping mechanisms. Exercise, meditation, and hobbies can all help reduce stress and improve mood. In some cases, therapy or counseling may be necessary to address deeper mental health issues, such as unresolved trauma or chronic anxiety. Social connections are also vital for mental well-being. Loneliness and social isolation have been linked to an increased risk of dementia and other cognitive issues. By fostering strong relationships and staying connected with friends and family, individuals can reduce stress and protect their brain health. Finally, maintaining a positive outlook on life and practicing gratitude can help reframe stressful situations and improve emotional resilience. Simple practices, such as keeping a gratitude journal or focusing on positive affirmations, can go a long way in managing stress and promoting mental well-being. Conclusion. Incorporating these 5 habits into your daily routine can have a profound impact on your brain health and overall well-being. By avoiding toxic behaviors, prioritizing sleep, and managing stress effectively, you can protect your brain from the effects of aging and cognitive decline. Additionally, making healthier food choices and staying physically active will support cognitive function and enhance your mental resilience, allowing you to live a more vibrant, fulfilling life.
What's happening is we're being thrilled to death. That we actually have an area in our brain called the nucleus accumbens. It's the pleasure center in the brain. It's where addiction happens in the brain. So our substantia nigra, or another area of the brain, produces dopamine. And then it goes and it works on the nucleus accumbens. So I think of them as little pleasure buttons in the brain. But if you hit it too often or too hard, it begins to wear it out. And we end up with this DDD, dopamine deficit disorder. And all of a sudden we feel...
Thanks for sticking with me through today's video. Remember, your brain is like a muscle. The more you take care of it, the stronger and healthier it becomes. These 5 habits may seem simple, but they can have a massive impact on your mental sharpness, mood, and overall health as you age. If you found this video helpful, make sure to give it a thumbs up, subscribe for more content like this, And hit that notification bell so you don't miss out on future tips for living your best, healthiest life. Let me know in the comments which habit you're going to start focusing on first. Until next time, take care and keep your mind sharp.